I notice more and more you pay in Bitcoin. I mean, people are saying it takes a lot of pressure off the dollar.
Some stories in finance unfold loudly. Crashes, bubbles, scandals splashed across headlines. But others happen in silence. Hidden in balance sheets, quarterly reports, and attestation PDFs that almost nobody reads, this one is different. Because in 2025, a private company, not a country, not a bank, has quietly become one of the largest buyers of US government debt. Larger than South Korea, larger than Germany, larger than entire sovereign nations. Its name is Tether. And its stablecoin, USDT, has quietly become the invisible engine behind the modern dollar. To understand why this matters, we need to rewind to the origin of the stablecoin revolution. In the early days of crypto, volatility was chaos. Bitcoin and Ethereum swung wildly. Traders needed a safe harbor, a digital dollar. In 2014, a small company launched Tether, promising each digital token would always equal $1. Simple idea. Massive consequences. Tether became the bridge between crypto and the dollar world. Every time traders wanted stability, they bought USDT. Every time exchanges wanted liquidity, they held USDT. And with each token issued, Tether promised it held a matching reserve, real dollars or equivalent assets somewhere in the real world. But what exactly those assets were was often a mystery. For years, critics accused Tether of opacity. Lawsuits, investigations, and skepticism circled around its reserves. Was the backing real? Were the assets solid? Or was this just another digital mirage? Then, as the crypto market matured, something shifted. Tether began publishing quarterly attestations verified by independent accountants.
I think it's fair to say you have some allies in the Trump administration now.
What those reports revealed shocked even industry veterans. By 2024, Tether disclosed over $113 billion in US Treasuries. By mid-2025, the figure hit $127 billion, and by Q3, it climbed past $135 billion. That made Tether the 17th largest holder of US debt in the world, just below Switzerland, and above countries like South Korea, Australia, and Saudi Arabia. Think about that for a moment. A crypto company, holding more US government debt than entire nations. So how did we get here? The logic is simple, yet deeply unsettling. Every time someone buys one USDT, Tether receives $1. Instead of letting that money sit idle, it buys short-term US Treasury bills, seen as the safest and most liquid asset on Earth. In a high-interest environment, those T-bills yield around 5%. The yield becomes profit. Profit that, according to Tether's own reports, reached $4.9 billion in just 1 quarter of 2025. Put simply, the more people use USDT, the more US debt Tether buys. And the more it earns from America's interest payments. In essence, the US government now pays interest, indirectly, to a private crypto company that helps fund its debt. That's not just fintech innovation. That's shadow finance. At first glance, it seems harmless. Tether buys treasuries, earns yield, stabilizes its token. Everyone wins. But the ripple effects are far deeper. When one company accumulates more than $100 billion in sovereign debt, it becomes a geopolitical actor, whether it admits it or not. If Tether's reserves were ever frozen, seized or liquidated suddenly, it could move treasury yields, disrupt liquidity, and ripple across global markets. According to economists, Tether now owns about 1.2% of all short-term US Treasury bills in circulation. That's enough to move prices, a privilege once reserved for central banks. And yet, Tether is not a bank. It's not regulated like one. It has no central bank backstop, no lender of last resort. It exists in the grey zone, the borderland between Wall Street and blockchain. Tether's rise exposes a deeper truth about modern money. The lines between state power and private capital are fading. For decades, control of the dollar meant control of the world. The US Treasury, the Federal Reserve, the IMF, these were the institutions shaping global liquidity. Now, a company founded in the crypto Wild West quietly plays in the same arena, holding the same instruments, influencing the same markets. If tomorrow, billions of dollars of USDT were redeemed, Tether would need to liquidate its treasuries. That could cause short-term turmoil, even a mini shock in the treasury market. In the other direction, if US regulators crack down or ban stablecoins, they'd risk disrupting a mechanism that now helps fund their own government. This is the paradox. The United States, unintentionally, depends on a crypto issuer to keep part of its debt machine running smoothly. That's not decentralization. That's entanglement. Critics warn that Tether's dominance may not be sustainable. Regulators in Washington and Brussels are drafting frameworks to treat stablecoins like banks, requiring capital buffers, audits, and disclosure rules. If those rules tighten, Tether's profit model could shrink. But if they don't, the company could continue expanding, potentially crossing $200 billion in treasury holdings within a year. That would make Tether a top 10 holder of US debt, a crypto company holding more treasuries than the likes of Saudi Arabia or Germany. In a world already struggling with debt ceilings, inflation, and digital disruption, that's a wild card no one truly controls. The dollar has always represented trust. Trust in governments. Trust in the system. But what happens when that trust migrates from the state to the blockchain to a private company operating offshore? Tether's story isn't just about crypto. It's about the quiet rewriting of financial power, a transition from traditional institutions to algorithmic ones. The question isn't whether this is good or bad. The question is, who really controls the dollar now?